Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of IMT College of Engineering. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Anushri. I am Assistant Professor in Department of Applied Science and Humanities. Today we will discuss about ecosystem. So in this lecture, we will learn about its definition, its structure and function. So first of all, let's start with its definition. We can say that an ecosystem is an interaction of living being with their surrounding. So in this definition, what is to be remembered is interaction. Whenever we talk about ecosystem, it is always in the reference of living organism. For example, we are surrounded by other peoples and species and also with some physical components like sunlight and water, etc. So in an ecosystem, we interact with living and non-living component present around us. So the next definition is ecology. It is defined as the study of living organism and its interaction with their environment. So before getting deeper into the ecosystem, let's understand some top terms like habitat and ecological niche. So the habitats are that particular area where an organism lives, and ecological niche is that particular area in an habitat where organisms live with least competition. For example, your home is your ecosystem, your room is your habitat, and your bed in this room is your ecological niche. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now moving towards its structure. So an ecosystem is composed of two components, that is abiotic component and biotic component. So the abiotic component includes air, water, sunlight or climatic factors, and also some edaphic factor like minerals, rocks, etc. So and next is biotic component. Biotic component consists of plants, animals and microbes. So the question arises how these components make an environment. So the abiotic component is responsible for the distribution and abundance of living organisms. For example, at equator, the sun intensity is higher, so the people around equator has dark complexion due to the synthesis of melanin pigment. And while people around the polar region, they have fair complexion. Why? Because of adaptability. So this adaptability is due to the physical environment. So this is how abiotic component impact on biotic component. Now the biotic component are further classified into three categories based on their roles in an ecosystem. They are producers, consumers and decomposers. So first let us talk about producers. What are producers? Producers are those organisms which can make their own food by means of photosynthesis. They are also known as autotrophs. How do they make their own food? They utilizes sunlight, which is a radiant energy, and carbon dioxide, water vapor to form organic matter, that is carbohydrate. So example of autotrophs are plants. Now the next is consumer. Consumer are those organisms which are directly or indirectly depend upon producers. They are also known as heterotrophs. And consumer can be of three types. they can be herbivorous, they can be omnivorous, they can be carnivorous. Herbivorous are those organisms which directly feed on producer, that is, they only feed on vegetation. Now the second is omnivorous. Omnivorous are those animals or those species which can feed on both plants and animal foods. Now the next is carnivores, they are flesh eaters. So similarly, third one is decomposer. Now decomposers are those organisms which feed upon dead and decaying matters. They are also known as saprophytes or tetratipods or saprotrophs. So on this planet there are different types of ecosystem. So let's understand its types and their characteristics. So there are initially two types of ecosystem. One which is made by nature itself, that is natural ecosystem, and second is artificial or man-made ecosystem. The example of man-made ecosystem is crop field and aquarium, which is developed and managed by human. Now the natural ecosystem is further classified into two categories. One which is in water, that is aquatic ecosystem, and another which is on land, that is terrestrial ecosystem. So the aquatic ecosystem exists in water bodies, and as we all know that on our planet water has two types. It can be salty or fresh water. So the ecosystem exists in salty water known as marine ecosystem, whereas which exists in fresh water is known as freshwater ecosystem. So how we will say that this water is fresh water and this water is salty water? So it is based on the concentration of salt. If the concentration of salt in water is more than 5 ppt, it is considered as marine water or salty water. And if the concentration is less than 5 ppt, it is considered as fresh water. Now the fresh water is further categorized into two categories. One, lentic ecosystem, and another is lotic ecosystem. So the lentic ecosystem means standing water ecosystem. The water is in standing form. For example, lakes, ponds. So the ecosystem exists in lentic ecosystem will be stable ecosystem because water current is absent. So they can stable their self itself, like plants can stable itself. And in lotic ecosystem, the environment or ecosystem is unstable because of presence of water currents. Some well-known lakes in India like Dal Lake, Sukma Lake. Dal Lake is in Srinagar and Sukma Lake in Chandigarh. Now terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem also have several types. It can be forest, it can be grassland or desert. So the secondary productivity, when the plant utilizes some portion of produced biomass for their own energy, that is for respiration, and the biomass left after that is considered as secondary productivity. We can also say that the amount of organic matter available for consumer is considered as secondary productivity. Now, the next function is energy flow. So, you might be familiar with the energy law, that is first and second law. and these laws are universal in our universe. So, when we talk about energy flow in an ecosystem, these two laws are also follows here. Let's see how these laws follow in an ecosystem. So, first law states that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to another. So, when it comes to an ecosystem, producer produces energy by utilizing radiant energy and convert them into chemical energy in the form of organic matter. Now, after the producers, primary consumer that feed upon them gets energy from them, and likewise secondary consumer by consuming primary consumer gets energy, and so on. So, in this manner, energy is being transformed from one form to another. Now, come to the second law. The second law of thermodynamics states that during this transformation, some energy will be lost in the surrounding. So, during the transformation of energy from producers to consumer, some portion of energy will be lost. Now, question arises, how much? So, the answer is 10%. So, only 10% energy will be transferred from one tropic level to next tropic level, and the remaining 90% will be lost in the surrounding as heat. Now the next function is decomposition. This function is performed by decomposers, which are saprotrophs or retritivorous. They do so by feeding upon dead and decaying organic matter and convert them into simple inorganic form. Now next is nutrient cycling. In this process, nutrient like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, etc., which are necessary for the growth and development of almost every living organism present on this planet. So, therefore, these nutrients get transformed from abiotic to biotic components and again in abiotic environment. This cycling process is responsible for the maintaining the balance in an ecosystem. Now the next topic is food chain. Food chain shows the relationship in between the organism. It shows the feeding habit or feeding behavior between the organism within an ecosystem. So, in an ecosystem, there are three types of food chain. Food chain is a representation of who eats whom in an ecosystem. So, first type is grazing food chain, which starts with grasses. Second is detritus food chain, which starts with dead plants. And last is parasitic food chain, which starts with parasites, which starts with producer and followed by parasite. So, as we know that these food chain contribute for the energy flow. So, if we talk about how these types of food chain responsible for the transfer of energy. So, if we talk about their composition or contribution, grazing food chain contribute 90% in any ecosystem, and detritus food chain contributes about 10%. And if we talk about parasitic food chain, it contributes less than 1%, that is approx 0.1%. We talked about grazing food chain, which starts with grasses and then followed by grasshopper. Grasshopper eat frog, frog eats eaten by snake, and followed by eagle. Similarly, detritus food chain starts with dead plant. When plant get died, the dead leaves or dead plant get feed up the wood house feed upon these dead leaves, which is followed by bug birds. Similarly, if we talk about parasitic food chain, so first let us know what is parasites. So parasites are those organisms which takes their nutrition from other organism or species without killing them. For example, if we consider this example, consider this example, a tree which has fruits. These fruits are half eaten by some frugivorous birds. Now trees is still remain functioning and only its fruit is being eaten by or consumed by some frugivorous. Now the bird which feeds upon these fruits has a lice or bugs on their bodies that sucks blood from their body. So similarly, lice and bugs bears microorganism that gets nutrient from them, which are also known as hyperparasite. Now come to the food web. A food web is an interlinking of various food chain within an ecosystem. It forms due to the different feeding habit of any living organism. For example, grasshopper can be eaten by lizards, but it can also be eaten by frogs or hawks. Similarly, lion can eat deer, but it can also eat goats. I hope it is clear to all of you. So, our next topic is ecological pyramid. What are ecological pyramid? So, ecological pyramid are the representation of relationship between the different living organism. The ecological pyramid shows the status of any living organism in an ecosystem. So it has two shapes. It can be upright or inverted. So in upright pyramid, the shape of pyramid have wide base and narrower top, and in inverted pyramid the shape is opposite to the upright, that is base is narrower and top is wider. What is next to be remembered is that in every pyramid it is always to be remembered that the base is always occupied by a producer. No matter what ecological ecosystem we are considering, the producer will always be present at base. So, and the top is always occupied by top carnivorous. Now, there are three different types of pyramid. First one is pyramid of number, second one is pyramid of biomass, and third one is pyramid of energy. So let's start with pyramid of number. So pyramid of number can be defined as a pyramid, ecological pyramid that represents the number of organisms at each trophic level in an ecosystem. So here the example of pyramid of number in an grassland ecosystem. So if we talk about producers, the grasses are larger in number, of course, as in compared to primary consumer, secondary consumer, or tertiary consumer. So as we move forward, the number will be decreases, and the pyramid will be in the shape of upright. Next is pyramid of biomass. So pyramid of biomass can be defined as an ecological pyramid which represents the total amount of biomass, that is organic matter, present at each trophic level. And if we are talking about a biomass, we can simply say it is measures in kg per meter cube. That is how much area it covers or how much dry weight it has. For example, pyramid of biomass for the pyramid of biomass for pond ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, of course. Here also the grasses are larger in biomass as it cover large portion, so the dry weight will definitely higher. And as we move forward, at each trophic level the dry weight will be decreased, so the shape of pyramid will be upright. And if we talk about a pyramid of biomass for pond ecosystem, it will be inverted. How? The phytoplankton present in water will have less dry weight as compared to primary consumer, so the shape of the pyramid will be inverted. Now the next pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy can be defined as the ecological pyramid that represents the flow of energy through the trophic level of an ecosystem. So energy is transferred from one trophic level to the next trophic level as organisms consumed and are consumed by other. So as we see that the pyramid of number can be inverted and it can be upright. Similarly, pyramid of biomass can be inverted and upright. But when we talk about pyramid of energy, it is always be upright, irrespective of any type of ecosystem. Let's see the example of pyramid of energy. See, this is the pyramid of energy. As you remember, we talked earlier about the flow of energy in an ecosystem. What we studied there, that at each trophic level only 10% energy will be transferred and 90% will be lost. As we can see in this example, producers has 10,000 joule of energy. When we move toward primary consumer, it has 1000 joule of energy. Secondary consumer has 100 joule of energy, and similarly tertiary consumer has 10 joule of energy. I hope you all like this lecture. Please like and subscribe for more lecture videos. Thank you.